Justin Bieber helps kids play hockey, Pixie on the prowl, Toronto shafted in 2023 budget, and so much more. Welcome to 6 Minutes, the show that keeps you up to date with the 6 in minutes. I'm your host, Georgie. Let's get right to these stories. Toronto is once again looking into allowing people to drink alcohol in city parks. 2 city councillors have tabled a motion asking for approval to conduct a pilot program this summer at select parks across the city. The motion calls on the city to use relevant experiences and best practices of other Canadian jurisdictions to best reflect public health and safety, as well as enforcement and cost considerations. A similar motion was tabled last year, however, former Mayor Tory called on city staff to study the issue further. If the motion is adopted, the pilot could begin as early as July 1st and run until October 9th. Currently, anyone caught with an open alcohol container in a city park faces a fine up to $300. Tory Lanez has just filed an appeal to throw out his conviction for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. In recently obtained documents, Tory's lawyer claims prosecutors tried to dirty him up with irrelevant evidence and argues there's lots that shouldn't have been presented to the jury. Tory's lawyer, Jose Baez, claims prosecutors submitted a shirtless photo of Tory with a firearm on his chest. Baez says prosecutors used the photo to highlight to the jury his client had a fondness for weapons, a photo which prosecutors said was merely for identification purposes. Baez said the jury also heard an 80-minute interview prosecutors had with Kelsey Harris, Megan's friend who was in the car the night of the shooting. Kelsey later recanted a lot of what she said in that interview, but the audio was devastating to Tory's case. These are just some of the many items Tory's lawyer believes should have been excluded from the case. Tory is facing 22 years in prison for 3 felony firearm violations and is scheduled to appear in court on April 10th for the next steps in the process. Justin Bieber's Drew House and the Toronto Maple Leafs are partnering to bring a new ball hockey league to Toronto. The league, called House of Hockey, is being presented in partnership with Tim Hortons and will be an inclusive, accessible, and impactful ball hockey program that addresses the number of barriers keeping youth on the sidelines. House of Hockey is a direct response to a study conducted by the MLSE Foundation. In this study of 8,000 youth in Ontario, 60% cited they are not actively participating in sport due to income level, lack of resources, and ability status. Players will be outfitted with the equipment and tools to enable their participation, including training with skilled coaches on the fundamentals of ball hockey, as well as jerseys, sticks, merchandise, and other gear provided by the Maple Leafs and Drew House. The season will take place over 8 weeks beginning in June, with weekly games played at sites and communities around the GTA. For more information, visit leafshouse.ca. A horrifying pizza Pixie was spotted around Toronto, giving me nightmares all week. The pizza costume is from the mind of Hallie Levy, a Toronto-based makeup artist. Levy told reporters earlier this week, the mask was made for a commercial that ended up going in another direction. The pizza mask is available for hire, says Levy. She does birthdays, bat mitzvahs, and funerals. To contact Hallie, visit halliedoesmakeup.com. The Online Streaming Act, aka Bill C-11, has been passed through the House of Commons, much to the chagrin of Pierre and the Conservatives. Pierre claims Justin and the Liberals pushed the bill through the House of Commons without much debate.
There's just an emergency here in Parliament Hill. The Liberals have just announced that they're shutting down debate, they're censoring debate on their censorship bill.
The Online Streaming Act will give the CRTC, who work at an arm's length with the Canadian government, the power to require tech giants such as YouTube, Netflix, and Spotify to make Canadian content available to users in Canada or face financial penalties. Bill C-11 has come under intense scrutiny amid accusations from critics who said it left too much room for government control over user-generated content and social media algorithms. Now that the bill has been passed by the House of Commons, it will now get sent back to Senate for final deliberations. Torontonians are pissed after Trudeau and the Liberals announced their 2023 Canadian budget. The budget is targeting 3 main areas: healthcare/dental, affordability, and clean economy. The government, however, left no money in the budget for improving Canada's economic engine, Toronto, despite promises made last year. Listen to Deputy Mayor Jennifer McKelvey expressing her disappointment for the lack of funding for Toronto during a $900 million shortfall due to the pandemic.
We have been very clear to the Government of Canada what the city's needs are and about the importance of supporting Toronto, the country's economic engine. I'm disappointed the Deputy Prime Minister, a Toronto MP, would ignore a direct commitment the federal Liberals made during the last election to the City of Toronto.
Doug Ford was less than sympathetic, saying officials should be driving efficiencies and focusing on lean practices.
I didn't hear anything about driving efficiencies, driving standardization, focusing on lean practices. They can't just go there and think the taxpayer is going to constantly bail them out.
The link to the full 2023 Canadian budget is in the description box down below. New music this week. On March 24th, Little Beretta dropped his EP Electric City. This one's called Disco Love. Check this one out.
I trap. Oh, I trap. don't know nobody like me.
On March 30th, Lifted Thought dropped Just a Word. And on March 28th, Doobie dropped his video for Charge It to the Game. Check this one out.
I'm trying to figure out what's real. I see they on to me, they think I sound deaf. If you knew a nigga living, probably care. We catching bodies, we got souls everywhere. Industry fake.
All music heard in these episodes can be found in the Showcase Toronto Spotify playlist. And that's it for this episode of 6 Minutes. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to tune into next week's episode. One love.